Hello everybody and welcome to Slipjoint Sawyer. I've been looking through my collection recently and I've become somewhat obsessed or just really enjoying the Lambsfoot shaped blade. I never really used to be a massive fan of a straight blade, whether it be Lambsfoot, sheepsfoot, anything along those lines. I've always preferred maybe a spear or a clip or drop point, something along those lines. But recently I've really sort of taken to them and I've been carrying them quite a lot. I've actually been pairing like a straight blade with maybe a clip point or a spear blade. But I thought I'd just sort of showcase my Lambsfoot collection. I'm pretty sure this is all the ones I've got. I may have missed some, they're kind of scattered all over the place. Now the majority of them are Sheffield, and the reason for that being is a Lambsfoot blade is a quintessentially British blade shape. There are a couple of companies in the States that have done them. I know Naked Sean has got a Camillus, I think it is, or a Remington Lambsfoot, which is fantastic because you don't really see American knives with Lambsfoot blades all that often. You see sheepsfoot, but not so much Lambsfoot. A couple of Chinese made ones from Rosecraft, which are superb, but we're just going to have a sort of a brief overview of what I've got, just have a quick walk around what they are really. So let's ditch the sticker and take a quick look. First one I've got here is one of the more recent ones I picked up. Now this is an IXL Barlow Lambsfoot, so you can see it's the classic Barlow frame and you get that elongated bolster, beautiful IXL stamp on this one. And this is one I redid in cherry wood because it came in plastic which was horribly shrunk, so I redid the scales on there. Pretty decent job, not perfect in any means, but you know, I'm a hobbyist. And you can see that beautiful Lambsfoot blade on there. Now it is used, but there's plenty of life left on that. And it's lovely having it on a Barlow frame as well. That's one of the things I really love, when the combination between the classic Barlow frame and a Lambsfoot blade. So that's the first one we've got there. Absolutely superb example. Next up, another one I've rehandled. Quite a few of these actually I've rehandled because a lot of them come in the plastic synthetic. And before we show you that one, I'll show you what I mean by the plastic synthetic. So a lot of the economy side budget range of Sheffield knives would have come in these once upon a time. It's just sort of hot pressed synthetic really, so there's a mold which is the complete reverse of this, so it'll have grooves in rather than these raised ridges, and they're just sort of hot stamped and then pinned very sort of basically onto the knife. Now this is a Howarth. Howarth are made in the same building as Arthur Wright and Sons in Sheffield. This one's got beautiful rat tail bolsters, and this is one that's yet to be taken apart and had the scales replaced, but I'm quite reluctant to do this one because the build quality is absolutely superb. But this is a larger Lambsfoot, so you can see in comparison to sort of a regular size Lambsfoot, this one's a bit more towards the 4-inch, whereas this is like 3.6 inches to maybe 3 3/4 inches. See the Howarth stamp on there as well, but a really beautiful Lambsfoot on this one. Again, this one has been used, but plenty of life left in it. And this has a great snap on it too. Wonderful Lambsfoot knife. And that one, that's quite a large one. Not normally the size I would carry. And then you can see quite a big sort of upswept on the handle there, or, you know, bow in the handle. Not something I normally like, or a sway back as you could call it. But longer, the kind of the more comfortable it generally tends to be with those. And then this is one I recovered myself in oak, and this is an older Arthur Wright and Son. So you've got the rat tail bolster on there as well. You can see the older stamp. But this is one of the ones I'm most proud of doing the recovers. This is one of the best ones I've done. I just love the oak. They've got this wood as well from Naked Sean. He's been providing me with quite a lot of handle materials recently to sort of help my obsession of rehandling the knives. A little bit of a lazy snap on that one, but still plenty of lockup on the open. Let's take a look at some Rosecrafts now, since we're here. This is the Sweetwater Creek Senator, and this is in the red sandalwood, and this is their take on the Senator pattern, which was actually, I believe, designed by Michael Harrison of Arthur Wright and Sons, who now owns the company. And have I got a Senator here? So yeah, this was the standard Senator. This is in ebony. This one does have a worked spring and liners, but pretty much the standard Senator pattern. So you have, you know, equal bolsters either side, a slight bow in the middle of the knife, you know, towards the channel, and then the back is pretty much flat, maybe a slight curve in it, And then you have a beautiful Lambsfoot blade on there as well. This one being C70 carbon steel, no half stop. And the Senator, you tend to have a bit of a lighter pull, and that's down to where the pin is. So the further back the pin, obviously there's a lot more spring to bend, so the pull's going to be lighter. The further this way you move the pin, tends to be the stronger the pull. But that really lends itself to being a much more gentlemanly knife. You can actually just pinch this one open without having to use the nail nick. But Senator's quickly becoming one of my favourite patterns, and Rosecraft did a fantastic sort of take on the Senator pattern as well. And I know Mikey from Mikey Newman took in the Sweetwater Creek Senator for Michael to see, and he absolutely loved it, which is fantastic because it is a superb knife. This one D2, and you can see he's done his own sort of take of it. He's got the full size front bolster, and he's done sort of like an end cap on there, which, you know, is fantastic. D2 as well, and a half stop. Beautiful knife from Rosecraft. And the other one I've got from Rosecraft that is a Lambsfoot is one of their recent releases. This is the Elk River Easy Open Lambsfoot blade with no nail nick, and it's superb. I love this one. It's one of my favorite ones. Combination of the Easy Open, no nail nick, and the skull. Beautiful knife. This one's had seen a lot of use already. You can see there's some sort of dirt or something on the blade. I can't even remember what it is, but you can see that Easy Open really lends itself for a Lambsfoot. No nail nicks needed for this one. Absolutely fantastic. Great action on there as well. Next up is one of the first ones I attempted to repair, and it's one that's in the queue to be redone now I've had a bit of practice. So you can see there's a bit of gapping on the back here. Not my sort of finest work, and I know I can fix that. And this is actually buffalo. I know I can sand that down a bit better as well and get more of a sheen out of it. We have a rat tail bolster on there as well, and this is, it says Rogers there, and you're not going to be able to see it on the camera if it's going to focus, but in sunlight you can just about see William above it. So this is a William Rogers Lambsfoot. See, they've got that real Lambfoot stamped in the blade. This one's seen quite a lot of use. You can see that tip is rounded. Now I may address that when I do a sort of a refurb of this one again. I might bring the tip down so we can have a bit more of a point on the end, but in all honesty, it's absolutely fantastic the way it is. I don't really see the need of doing that. So we'll see. We'll see in the sort of the restoration for that what it's like. One that's sort of like just sort of a knife that was sort of knocked up really. This is a walnut Lambsfoot. This is an Arthur Wright and Son, and this is just one of the knives that myself and Mikey were sort of testing as prototypes for a secret project, which I will let you into in the future, of different patterns and different bits and pieces we'd like done. This one had some nice red liners done on it as well. And that walnut looks absolutely fantastic. Beautiful Lambsfoot blade on there. And we had this one with a half stop. But yeah, this one's fantastic. I've not carried it a whole bunch since I've got it, but I've not had it a very long time. And I haven't decided whether I like the half stop more or less than just having the cam tang. It's weird because the half stop's been around for years and years and years, and I've got some knives early 1900s that have a half stop on them, but for me having a cam tang seems a bit more traditional. I know that's a weird thing to say, but that's just how I sort of feel about it. We have another one here I've redone. This is a Lambsfoot, but it interestingly is on the spear frame. And when I say spear frame, generally you would have the spear point blade on this sort of straight frame. It's just sort of a, you know, like a very subtle teardrop shape. And I put buffalo on this one. You can see that beautiful Lambsfoot blade. This is one of the first times I did buffalo, and I think it came out really well. Love the Lambsfoot blade on this one. It's just everything that a Lambsfoot blade should be. No fuss, just straight down to work. See the Arthur Wright stamp there as well. Beautiful fit and finish. Great action. And the thing I like about having the Lambsfoot on the spear frame is it makes it a lot easier to open. So if we use this one, for example, the Lambsfoot on the standard frame compared to the spear frame, look how much of the blade is still exposed. And it would make more sense if I used a more modern blade. So you can see this one here. Look how much more of the blade is exposed on this one. So you can just about pinch this one, but it's a lot harder to do so, whereas on this one with that much blade done, it's just so much easier. So I'm really leaning towards having a Lambsfoot blade on a spear frame. As preference goes, I know a lot of people are going to prefer the suede back ones, but for me, I think it just looks absolutely fantastic on that frame. And one of the knives I think tops this one the slightest bit more is when you add a Barlow bolster to it. And this was the Moonraker exclusive. This is the Spalted Beech. Had the Lambsfoot with the Barlow bolster on the spear frame. And just look at that. Isn't that absolutely fantastic? The wood is superb. The fit and finish is absolutely phenomenal. And that Barlow bolster just brings it to that whole new level. I just think it's fantastic. Massive fan of that one. That one gets a lot of pocket time. A couple of older ones. Now, this one here is a Herbert Robinson with probably the strongest pull on any of my Lambsfoot knives, and could quite well be the oldest one, give or take maybe a few years. But you can see Herbert Robinson on the stamp there, and this one has the real Lambsfoot stamp on the blade as well. Beautiful half stop and snap, absolute guillotine this one, and some fantastic jigging on the bone as well. And I mean, look at the fit and finish. This knife could potentially be 60, 70 years old, maybe even older, and look at the build quality on it. Rat tail bolsters, the whole lot. One of the more modern ones as well from IXL. One of the ones you could probably buy now when they finally get the website up and running. I know the famous Sheffield shop, Jane, has some of these. This is sort of the laser etch on here, which is unfortunate. And then this side's plain. This is Buffalo. And this is some of the other style Buffalo. You don't get so much. It's not all feathered like this stuff down here. You do get some that's sort of plain black with like this golden sort of amber colour in it, really. And the back is just a beautiful plain black. Barlow bolster, and then you get this Lambsfoot blade on here as well. And this has the smoothest action of any knife I have in my collection. It literally feels like glass on glass. There's no resistance whatsoever from the pins either side. There's obviously resistance from the back spring, but it's just so smooth and snappy. And this might be the only one I have in stainless steel. I think the rest of them are carbon steel. But still love this one. It's been carried a couple of times. I think it's a fantastic gentleman's knife. Only thing I think would upgrade it is maybe some really fantastic wood, or maybe some more buffalo-y buffalo. Maybe that one would be one to do in the future. That would be cool to do, wouldn't it? Some larger ones now. This is a Tailor's Eye Witness. This is in beautiful jigged bone. This one was owned by someone called, it's going to focus, T Hobbill. And he knew how to look after a knife, because look at the condition of this thing. Beautiful Tailor's stamp on the blade and on the tang. Great fit and finish, and he even oiled the joints because it still has a snap. And he knew how to sharpen because there's loads of blade left. So whoever owned this knife, you certainly knew exactly how to look after your knives. But beautiful jigging on that bone. And that is about a 4-inch Lambsfoot, one of the larger ones, similar to this Howarth up here. Next up, another Tailor's Eye Witness. This is one that's in carbon steel. It's more recent than this one, but older than, you know, this sort of style here, where these would have been stainless steel, including this IXL. The Tailors are also stainless steel now. But you can see it does have the Eyewitness tang stamp, and this is one I rehandled in mahogany. And this is the most beautiful mahogany I think I've seen come out. Look at the swirls on that and the deep red colours on there. Got dark browns into lighter, and then this side is as beautiful. Little tiny bit of a gap, but nothing major. That's exactly how it was before I took it apart. But barely any wear on that blade whatsoever, and that's a beautiful Lambsfoot blade. And the difference now between quite a lot, even some of the Sheffield companies, so you have an Arthur Wright Lambsfoot blade, which can have quite an abrupt drop at the end, or a Tailor's one, which is a bit more of a gradual drop. But both are Lambsfoot blades. No preference between them. I think they're both equally beautiful, but it's just interesting to see the different sort of styles and takes on the Lambsfoot blade. And then down to the final two, one of which is a Trevor Ablett I picked up very recently. This one's in beautiful, what I believe is rosewood. But then you have the brass bolster, his trademark sort of squaring off of the bolster. And this one has a beautiful lambsfoot. And it does say Sheffield in that sort of design that he does, but it's very faint on that stamp. Trying to get it to focus so you can see it. You're never going to be able to read that, but it does say Sheffield, England on the bottom there. And this is a beautiful lambsfoot blade on there as well. This is sort of like a combination of the two, really. It's curved, but there is an abrupt drop as well. This thing's seen quite a lot of pocket time since I picked it up. It's just fantastic. I love the way that Trevor Rabbit did the handles, where it sort of came out from the bolster, but not incredibly bulky, just enough so there's enough of a handle to grip, but not too fat that it feels weird in your pocket or a slip. It's an absolutely beautiful knife, and it still has fantastic action. And then possibly my favourite of the bunch is an Ashley Harrison custom. This one is in the Thoya Burl, or Thoya Burl, I can never remember the pronunciation. This one has beautiful worked back springs, brass liners, brass pins. This is in 01 tool steel, and the filing goes all the way down the blade as well. And look at the meetup on this. Isn't that fantastic how he's lined that up? The profile of that knife is absolutely superb, and this is actually in my pocket today. I'm really enjoying carrying this thing. 01 tool steel as well, so you get a little bit of an upgraded steel. Not that it really matters. I can get through my full day with C70 or a basic carbon or even a basic stainless without any problems, but it's nice to have that little bit of uprated steel. But there we go, guys. That's my overview of my sort of quintessential Lambsfoot pocket knife collection. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell to be made aware of future videos when they drop. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching. Peace out.